The Chaser Report is recorded on Gadigal land.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report podcast with Dom and Charles.
Hello, Charles.
And
What's
Dom,
up?
We've just cracked open a bottle of Seppeltsfield Barossa Grenache.
Seppeltsfield Grenache, yep.
Yeah, Grenache. Because it's, of course, 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
When we record this.
Wine for breakfast again.
That's right. And you just, it was an old bottle. It was a bottle you opened last Friday.
On Friday, yeah.
Yeah, and you went, would that be all right a few days later?
In a screw top.
In a screw top. And I said, yes, of course. I regularly drink vinegar, so that'll be fine. But the tale that we're going to tell you today relates to that in a way that perhaps isn't as fine.
Now, there's a mysterious hook. In today's podcast, we are going to take a look at Apple's new products, tenuously linked to some bizarre story Charles read. That's what it's going to be, but you'll get a full rundown on the latest Apple product in the podcast, which we've definitely been planning to do the whole time.
More after this.
Let me just take a sip of this and see how terrible it is. No, it's not that much worse than it was last week.
No, I reckon wine actually improves
It's improved.
with age.
We went to Seppeltsfield. They gave us this stuff for free, so thank you to them.
This is a hot tip, though. Wine improves with age, Tom. Did you know that?
I haven't. I think I've heard something about that until the point where it turns into vinegar. Yeah, that's right.
This is the story. A man, 20-year-old, decided that he was hungry.
Okay.
Right.
This is bizarre so far, yeah.
Yep. His name AJ, right? So there was a bit of leftover spaghetti on the kitchen counter.
Sure.
He'd left it for 5 days, and then he added a bit of extra tomato sauce to freshen it up.
Sure.
Put it in the microwave, blasted it. You'd think that'd be pretty safe, and then became violently ill and died.
Wow.
Right. Okay.
From bolognese.
From bolognese. Eating 5-day-old bolognese.
From the counter.
Yeah, it'd been left out for 5 days. Right. And they finally... So this happened 15 years ago, something like that. But the Journal of Clinical Microbiology has just published a new report actually outlining what exactly happened. There was an autopsy and they finally drilled down and worked it out.
So you're telling me he involuntarily donated his body to science?
That's right, exactly. And it was this toxin, it's a bacteria called Bacillus cereus, right? Which caused a toxin, right, that contaminated the food. So, I think the whole point about bacteria is it poos out. And it's basically
it excretes toxins, does it? Okay,
yeah.
Right.
And what that then did was create moderate centrillobular liver necrosis. Right.
That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound either good or correctly pronounced. Is my read.
But I love that it was moderate. Moderate liver necrosis.
I mean, how much liver necrosis can you afford to take before you die? I'm imagining. I think minor is probably not very good.
Minor.
Look up necrosis.
Necrosis means death, doesn't it?
Necrosis
liver death.
is unprogrammed cell death caused by external cell injury.
Yeah, so I think even mild liver necrosis, you need your liver to live.
It's in the name.
That's what it is, yeah. So, anyway, point is, fine to eat 5-day-old or drink 5-day-old wine. Not so fine.
I mean, if we die because of this wine being 5 days old, if we get liver necrosis, this will be an amazing... This will make us famous posthumously.
Yeah. Mind you, I think this is doing something else to our liver.
This will be the most ironic podcast in the history of podcasts. If we are talking about dying to liver poisoning and we die due to drinking this. Seppeltsfield Barossa Grenache, which does not say on the label, do not consume after 5 days. So please, my estate, can you sue them?
Yes, that's true. Please. Yeah, you'll be rich in your afterlife. You have to take a camel up there and go through the needle.
You're suggesting I'm a rich man? That's deeply wrong. Anyway, okay. So, Charles, normally we try and get about, 15 to 20 minutes content out of these stories with a topical aspect. I'm wondering what you're going to link this. Is this going to link to The Voice or climate change or the new iPhone 15, which we could have talked about today instead?
Oh, yeah, that's a much better idea. Why don't we talk about the iPhone 15, which is essentially reheated remains from
Oh, nice link.
previous technology. That was my
Creative-
whole intention.
Creative necrosis of the liver on the part of Apple.
Yeah.
So look, one thing that I'll say, and I don't know if this would have saved the person in this case, but microwaves don't kill germs as well as, say,
What do you mean?
stir frying.
No. But no, this is literally the Philippines National Nutritional Council wants everyone to know, as a result of this report, that there is no such thing as frying away food poisoning.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a toxin.
So
the
you can't kill the toxin. Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's called fried rice. They call it fried rice syndrome.
Oh.
Which is that people think that you can...
Oh, that you just refry it.
Yeah,
thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah.
I would have died.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't have fried this wine.
Yeah, no.
We probably didn't need to.
I mean, it's certainly got a nice residue from all the oil in the pan.
Okay, so let's go through the Apple products because that's another.
That's a good way to try and get people to listen. Right?
Yeah.
To give a summary of all the Apple products.
I can't believe this. Yeah, okay.
Maybe we'll just, Lachlan, at the start of the podcast, just put this, just copy and paste this audio, but leave it in here so people can tell how slapdash we are.
Okay.
In today's podcast, we are going to take a look at Apple's new products, tenuously linked to some bizarre story Charles read. That's what it's going to be. But you'll get a full rundown on the latest Apple product in the podcast, which we've definitely been planning to do the whole time. Okay, we're back in the present
that's
now.
good.
So, the Apple...
seamless.
Do you know, this is the first time in my life
Yeah.
that I didn't even notice that there were new iPhones out until sort of late in the day. Normally I get up at like 6 in the morning or whatever and watch the video.
Oh, no, I did. I
didn't even notice.
5:45, I was there for the titanium.
So that's one, I suppose that's the big...
The big story is if you're buying a $1,900 phone, it won't smash quite as easily.
Yeah, the Apple iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max is titanium, which they say will make it lighter and have a smaller bezel.
Yes.
Still got an enormous bezel compared to Android phones, but it's a little bit less enormous.
I think we buried the lead, though, which is that it's $300 more expensive.
Is it?
Yes.
Is that because of the dollar or because they're pricks or both?
Why not all?
I mean, why not all of the
Yeah,
above?
yeah,
Okay. Wow, $300 more expensive. But probably the biggest change for most people is that the new iPhones take USB-C.
USB-C!
So all the lightning cables you own
I know.
are now officially obsolete, except for AirPods and a few other bits and pieces.
That's right, and
they're done.
And they quietly also released AirPod Pro 2s that have USB-C cases.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Okay.
The whole lineup's just completely USB-C.
So the one thing to bear in mind about this, which I find deeply ironic, is that do you know why they've made the change? Why they've killed the lightning cable?
Well, because the EU said...
So they've gone from a smaller cable to a bigger one,
Yes.
which is the first time ever that's happened.
Yes.
Because the EU insisted that everyone use the same charger
Yes.
for environmental reasons,
Yes.
thus condemning hundreds of millions of cables.
No, billions.
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 And they're literally billions.
Well, there's a billion iOS devices
I would have 10. I'd have 10 lightning cables
Yeah.
for sure.
So there are at least a billion, if not several billion.
So 10 billion lightning cables
Yeah.
just got consigned to the bin for the environment, to protect the environment.
to protect... I think we've got to get Craig on the case. Yeah, I think they should bring back the 30-pin connector because a lot of people had them. I mean, I've still got some, and it's against the environment to make them obsolete, Dom.
So that's one new thing.
No, but I think that's fine.
The 30-pin connector.
No, but I think it's fine that everyone has to have USB-C. Having a standard, it's ridiculous that we didn't have a standard. It's like you got the electricity plugs. Imagine if every company had a different electricity plug.
It's annoying enough already when you go to America and it's all.
What do you mean?
When you go overseas and there's different electrical
Yes,
plugs and all that
exactly.
kind of thing. Now, can I just briefly make an excursion because this is a pretty meandering podcast
This is
anyway.
terrible.
You know what they're doing in Penrith?
What?
In Penrith, in Sydney,
Yeah.
in Western Sydney.
Yeah.
They are making roads from. Did you see this story?
Oh, is it plastic or something?
It's coffee cups. 136,000 coffee cups
Is this a fucking
have
Craig
been turned
thing?
into road.
Oh,
to
yeah.
which I say,
Yeah.
fuck you, Craig. I'm drinking coffee out of disposable cups again because there's a use.
Yeah, there's
They're going to use for the road.
Yes, I'm doing it for the roads.
They've also made them out of 1.2 million glass bottles,
Yes.
which means that you can still glass people. But I think Penrith was already onto that.
It makes you go, we really do need to think about...
Polluting.
Well, no, but I think it also is like, what else can be made out of coffee cups that would be better made out of bitumen?
I mean, I would like to make a giant sculpture of Craig Rucastle
out of
coffee cups.
Yeah.
But 10 stories tall.
But, the government's there to produce hospitals, schools and roads.
Made out of coffee cups.
I want to see more hospitals and schools made out of coffee cups.
You would think that if you flatten them, they'd be pretty good for insulation. There's a lot of plastic in those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Why don't you try, instead of just
And
whinging,
also,
Rucastle, why not use them as something good?
And the thing is, the people of Penrith always complain about the inner city latte sippers.
Yes.
But that's where they get their roads from.
Where they get the roads from.
Yes.
And they love roads.
We should actually instead of making them out of coffee cups, we should make them out of coffee drinkers.
Well, if they don't figure
Solve
out
the
how
housing
to make
crisis.
them out of like stubby holders, that would be pretty good.
Yes, that would be more Penrith.
But
wouldn't
I
it?
think the point is,
Although actually Penrith is the sort of queer capital of the West.
Is
isn't
it?
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's
very
fantastic.
upmarket.
Fabulous.
And it's got
of course, everywhere's posh in the whole. There's nowhere in Sydney that's not posh now.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely.
very good. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to Apple.
The Chaser Report. Now with extra whispers.
Was it inadvisable to have the? I think this red
The
wine
wine's
might
not
be
helping
a
the
bit-
quality. This is why we normally record our podcast
think
before the wine.
This is giving us
So
brain necrosis.
basically, look, the thing is, Apple products, every single year, they're less snazzy, they're less special than they were the year before. Like this year, they're slightly more curved. They're made out of titanium, and they go to a 5. The Pro Max has a 5 times zoom instead of a 3 times zoom.
Yeah.
And they're slightly better in low light. Whatever. Like the difference is less every single year with them.
So why did we hinge a whole episode on talking about? Why don't we talk about liver necrosis?
wanna
That's
know.
what people want to know about is the liver necrosis, not the. But no, but they didn't just announce iPhones today, Dom. They also announced a lineup of very, very similar watches.
Yeah, that's true. The Apple Watch Series 9,
Yeah.
which is like the Series 8. It's slightly brighter screen.
Slightly faster.
Yeah, it does the Siri processing on device instead of in the cloud.
Well, that's because it's got enhanced neural GPU technology.
So, I mean, it's an hour and a half long, this presentation, and somehow I found,
I think we should make this podcast an hour and a half
to
long
go through all the
in
features.
honour.
And they also released the Apple Watch Ultra 2, which is the stupidly expensive one, which you
Yes.
buy if you either are into diving or running or adventuring, or you're a wanker with lots of money. So I'm hoping to save up for one.
Well, there was a joke going around that the Apple Watch Ultra comes with a free, Patagonia vest with a hedge fund brand printed on it.
Definitely would.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it would come with.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing that's out today. And that's kind of it. Like, there's nothing exciting. Oh, the dynamic island feature now is on the regular iPhone 15, right? So,
Oh my God,
one.
I'm just bored listening to myself.
I know.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, but normally talking about Apple is quite interesting.
no.
But shall we just call it?
What?
It's Apple's over.
Yeah, Apple's over.
They're
isn't
over.
it?
There's
Yeah.
nothing
No.
exciting.
Yeah.
Like an hour and a half of presentation. Like, to be honest, I reckon
Yeah.
that fully 2/3 of that presentation today
Mm.
was simply them throwing to one person and saying, "Oh yeah, there's a new iPhone. Over to you, Andrea." And then Andrea going, "Yep, it's called the iPhone 15. Over to you, Sarah." And then there's this giant whizzing transition between the two. Like, fully 2/3 of the thing was just incredibly elaborate camera transitions.
Yeah.
To try and pad the time because they've got nothing new to say. There is nothing. All the phones are the same now. There's nothing original or new at all. Like, even the one pathetic delight in my life of new technology, there's nothing. There's nothing new at all.
But Dom, you know what I'm holding out for from Apple?
Sponsorship for the podcast.
No, is the next version of the Vision Pro.
Oh, a Vision Pro that actually works.
Yeah, Vision Pro 2, because I think that's where we're going to get excited. Is because I haven't seen Vision Pro 1, but I'll tell you what, the next one, that'll be good.
Well, you're not going to get the first one. That would be very foolish.
No,
It'll probably cause necrosis of the eyeballs or something like that.
Oh, it's all just watching the world. The problem with me today is that I had this realization. I stupidly watched a video by George Monbiot, who's launched.
No.
Yeah,
Don't
I
wanna
know.
do that.
Launched this new news service out of the UK, and it's all about actually the way the world works is the people who are most incentivized to get involved and donate to the political system in terms of corporations are the most bad, evil, polluting corporations.
I
They're,
see.
like, the most antisocial corporations are the ones that are most in fear of being banned by the democratic process. And so we've created this system by allowing sort of companies to donate that supercharges the involvement of antisocial corporations in our political system. So
But on the bright
I'm just
side,
sort of depressed.
on the
It's
bright side, sometimes they give you a puffer jacket with a hedge fund logo. Yeah, that is depressing. I suppose to cheer ourselves up, Charles, we could
well, we should go out and buy a new product.
we should talk about The Voice.
Ah!
I think you know what the problem is with The Voice. In all honesty, I'm just going to give you one sentence that's the problem, or one word that's the problem with The Voice. Necrosis. Hang on. Jacinta Price has just sent me a text message. This will cheer me up. Gary's from Road. We're part of the Iconoclast Network. Yeah, it'd be good if tomorrow's one was less depressing, but
no guarantees.
no guarantees at this point. It might be less tipsy.
Yeah.
No guarantees at this point.
So, yeah.